We're talking. Hey guys, good morning. We're out here in the beautiful Santa Monica Mountains. We're gonna find some raptors today, and I'm gonna show you how to scout a location to make sure you find them in the right place at the right time and get great shots every time. Let's do it. All right, guys, so again, I'm out here to find raptors today. The bird kind, not the dinosaur kind, although some might tell you that they're the same thing. Birds are dinosaurs. Anyway, let's go back to the studio really quick, and I'll show you some programs and apps that I use to plan out a location before I come out and shoot, all right? Let's do that, and then we'll come back out here.
All right, everyone, so now we're back in the studio, and I just wanted to go over some of the programs and apps that I use to research wildlife so that I know where they're gonna be in the field before I go out and take photographs of them. This can really save you some time looking for the animals so that you can get good shots of them. If you have something specific that you're going after, this is a very good way to go about it. So the first one we're looking at here is called eBird. It's run by the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Basically what happens is here, birders and wildlife lovers can upload lists of the birds that they observed out in the field, and researchers and biologists use it to figure out what birds are in what places and some of the behaviors that they're involved in and things like that. So it really helps with research as well as just helping people find wildlife. I could go over this whole thing in an entire video. We could spend all day talking about eBird, but I'm just gonna show you very quickly one of the ways that I use it. So species maps, what we're gonna do is we're gonna type in a very specific species. So today I mentioned that I'm looking for raptors, and I'm going to search specifically for the white-tailed kite. And I enter that in, and the map pops up with all these purple splotches. All these purple dots are observations. The darker purple means more sightings have been seen in that particular area. As we zoom in, you'll see the purple goes away and you get these pins. Blue pins are older than 30 days, okay? So these are observations where white-tailed kites have been seen, but that was more than 30 days ago. So you wanna look for the red ones, okay? So as we zoom in on this particular red one here, if I click on it, it pops up with Malibu Creek State Park, and look, there's my name right there because I submitted a list yesterday and actually the day before where I saw one. So basically what you can do here is you can see everyone's lists, and when you click on the date, it takes you to their uploaded list with the species that they saw. This lists, all the birds that I saw that day. I like to upload photos. It really helps the researchers and biologists understand the birds and the movement and their behaviors. In fact, when I entered this white-tailed kite on this list, it popped up as a rarity, and it said, please give us some more information about it. And luckily I had some photos. And I even got a thank you from eBird for posting this particular series of shots and this observation. And I actually met somebody out in the field who came out the following day and said, oh, are you the one that posted the thing about the white-tailed kites? And I said, oh yeah. And she said, oh man, that's great. This is one of my favorite birds. And lo and behold, she got some great shots that day because she used eBird. Okay, enough with eBird. The next one is called iNaturalist. Pretty much the same thing as eBird, but it's more broadly focused on all wildlife. So if I type in bobcat, and I click on bobcat here, it takes me to a very similar map that we had before, and all the orange splotches are sightings of bobcats. And as we zoom in, just like eBird, you get pins, and when you click on the pins, it'll show you the date of the sighting, and you can click on this to see more information about the sighting. Sometimes people have photos, and it's just another helpful way to find out where wildlife is so that you can know where to go to get good shots of it, okay? So that's iNaturalist, very similar to eBird. These are great tools. Check the weather. Self-explanatory. You want to know if it's going to rain, or if it's going to be foggy, or if it's going to be windy, or if there's going to be snow or something like that. Just check the weather before you go out. If you go out and you're not prepared for the weather, that can ruin your shoot, okay? So check the weather. Tides. If I'm going to a tidal area like a tidal marsh or a beach where the tides can come in and out, I want to know what the tides are going to do while I'm there during my shoot, okay? You don't want to get stuck in an area and all of a sudden the tide comes in and you can't get out, all right? You can ruin your gear and your equipment, but you can also, put yourself in danger, and you don't want to do that. So the way this chart works is the yellow areas are daylight hours, the gray is nighttime, and you can see right now where this blinking red dot is, it's low tide right now. Okay, so if I went to the beach right now, the tide would be out. And that's a good thing to know is some animals like terns and some pelicans and wading birds and shorebirds, they like to feed when the tide is out. The food source is more readily available, the water is more shallow, and it's more visible. So a lot of birds will feed when it's low tide. So it's a good, observation to make when you go out, what the tide is gonna be like, all right? Okay guys, so that's pretty much the programs that I use before I go out on a shoot, so I know exactly what animals I can potentially see and where to see them, okay? So use these tools to help you when you go out, and you'll get great photos every time, I promise you. So that being said, let's head back out into the field and start taking some photos. Let's go.
All right, so I hope you guys found those programs and apps helpful. Make sure you use them, especially eBird and iNaturalist. They're really great to pinpoint exactly where animals are and where people have seen them recently, so that you have a good chance of finding them. Today, some of the animals that I'm looking for specifically are hawks, harriers. There's a white-tailed kite that's in the area, which is really exciting because it was a bird that I'd never seen until a couple days ago, and hopefully we'll be able to get some great shots of that. And basically I'm just going to be going over the scouting process and how I look at a location, look at a habitat, and find out exactly where the birds are and what they're doing so that I can find... Shut up, phone, I'm doing a video. So that I can find the animals and get great shots every time. All right, let's go find some. All right, guys, so I just found a hawk up here in this tree. I imagine it's kind of blown out and maybe out of focus for you guys. Let me just snap a shot and show you what I see. So when you're looking for birds of prey, a lot of times they hang out near the tops of the trees, and they sort of have a very specific silhouette and shape, and that's kind of what you want to look for when you go out looking for them. All right, so let me just snap a shot here. All right, and I'll put that up on the screen. That is a red-tailed hawk, and basically he's just sitting up there looking around for rodents, looking around for breakfast this morning. That's a good observation. Now I know there's a red-tailed hawk right here, and I could sit here and wait for him to, do some behavior, to take some photos, but I'm just out here scouting. I don't want to get too carried away. I can get distracted very easily taking photos, especially when it's such a beautiful morning out here. So I'm gonna leave him alone and just let him hang out there, and I'm gonna keep looking around for some more birds. Like I said, I really want to find this white-tailed kite this morning so I can show you guys exactly how cool this bird is, all right? Let's keep moving down the trail here. I found him. All right, guys, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna take a shot to show you the white-tailed kite. Now, he's on the other side of a creek here, a ditch that I can't really cross very easily. So that is what the white-tailed kite looks like, hanging out on top of the tree across the ditch here. And he's obviously very easy to spot because he's so bright white. And again, sitting at the top of a tree, just like all these raptors tend to do. This is where you kind of want to scan when you're looking for birds like this. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully he'll come back over this way, and I'll be able to get some better shots to show you guys. I'm gonna hang out over here and see what else I can find in the area. There's a big field over here, again, where they like to feed, so hopefully I'll be able to find some. All right, let's keep looking. All right, guys, so the kite just flew across the creek. He's now over here, hanging out in the field. He's hovering right now, searching for food. He's gonna start diving down, and hopefully I'll be able to get some good shots of him grabbing something and coming up. So kites sort of do this hovering maneuver where they kind of flap their wings and kind of hang out in midair. It's really neat. It's a great opportunity to get some shots of them doing this behavior.
Any idea what kind of bird that is?
It's a white-tailed kite.
White-tailed kite.
Yeah,
Cool.
It's a really cool one. Guys, he just landed in this tree back here, and I think I got some great shots. Let's move up a little bit closer. He seems to be pretty tolerant of my presence, so I'm gonna get a little bit closer and try to show you guys this bird up close. All right, let's check him out. All right, so I didn't exactly nail the landing shot of him in the tree because my exposure was so low from when I was shooting into the sun a little bit ago. I didn't adjust my exposure settings enough to get those shots, but he's still sitting up here, and there's actually some crows up here that seem to be giving him a hard time. So maybe we'll be able to get some good shots of that. That's him. That's him hanging out right here in this tree in front of me. One thing I'm gonna point out, since I'm shooting a white bird right now, to get the exposure right on something that bright of a subject, basically when you are shooting a white subject, you wanna meter the bird, or the subject I should say, and open up about a stop to a stop and a half from the center of your meter, okay? The center of your meter wants to make the image gray, an 18% neutral gray color. So you want to meter the bird and then open up to about a stop and a half, and that will make the bird white again, okay? So you kind of want to just slightly overexpose white subjects to make them actually come out white. And I just saw a harrier flying over this hill. I'm so conflicted. There's so much going on. I don't even know what to do. This is amazing. This is why I do this. This is why you need to do this. It's so much fun. Dude, this crow is so cruising for a bruising here. All right, the crow kind of just chased off the kite, which is annoying, but he'll be back. And there's the harrier. Harriers are really neat because they sort of just glide over the top of the grass as they search for prey. There's just so much going on. This is too exciting. Let's move up the hill. There's just so much action going on right now. It was so quiet, and all of a sudden they're just out and about looking for mice and stuff. This is pretty good. Always make sure you're checking your histogram, checking your photos as you take them. If you change positions, if the light changes, check your exposure, make sure you're nailing the shot, okay? Those are parakeets. Aren't they noisy? So fun. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for the scouting portion of the video here. I just wanted to show you guys what to look for when you're out in the habitat looking for animals and how to find them and photograph them. All right, so hopefully you guys found this informative and got some good tips. So let's move on back to the car, and I'll give you a few more pointers as we go along. All right, guys, I want to show you something that's kind of gross, but it's important. You see that? That's poop. That's coyote poop. And basically the way you know that is it's got a lot of fur in it, so you know it was some kind of predatory mammal that was feeding on rodents. And over time, you learn what different scat looks like. Scat's a fancy word for poop. And that's important for tracking animals. In fact, researchers appreciate when you upload photos of that stuff to sites like iNaturalist, and they can identify whether or not an animal's in the area based off of that scat observation. So, know your poop. Good to know. All right, so one other thing that I wanted to point out when you're scouting a location or a habitat to photograph animals, look for elements like tall bushes like this, sagebrush that's out among the grasses, or kind of bushy trees and things like that in your area. These are good natural blinds. Now, animals are very sensitive to movement, and they try to conceal themselves as much as possible when there's human activity. All you have to do is just stand next to the bush or the tree. Just stand near it, okay? And it sort of breaks up your shape. It sort of blends in with that bush, that natural element that they're used to seeing. There's a harrier flying right here, and now I need to get shots of it. I'm telling you guys, I get so distracted, and it's just, I can't help it. That's just one thing I wanted to point out, okay? So I'm actually gonna go up into this field, and there was some sagebrush there, and I'm gonna try to get right next to it. And as this harrier cruises the tops of the grass, hopefully I'll be able to get some good shots of it at eye level while it's cruising. All right, let's see if I can get the shots. It's worth a shot, no pun intended. I'm bad at this. Why are you watching? Guys, of course, as luck would have it, as soon as I come over to this spot where I just saw the harrier flying around, she went up over the hill. So
I could sit here and wait for her to come back. That's part of wildlife photography, is just sitting and waiting. You have to have patience if you're gonna do this, for sure. But right now I just wanted to come out and scout the area. I know there's a harrier out here. I know she likes to come up in this area, so if I wanted to get some really good shots of her, I could plant myself here, and I know that she's gonna come back, and she's been coming right in and out of this ridge, looking for rodents and things to eat this morning. So I could plant myself probably right behind one of these little bushes, and she'd probably come really, really close to me. But right now, I just wanted to kind of do a quick video about scouting, and we've kind of accomplished that. I saw hawks, I saw the kite, I saw harriers, I saw all kinds of great stuff this morning, which is what we came out to do. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for stopping by and checking out the video. If you like this, please toss a like down below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell for all the upcoming videos I have coming out. It will also really help the channel grow, which will help conservation. I don't know if you knew this, but basically a portion of the money that I take in as Remain Wild will go directly to conservation efforts out in the field, okay? I'm gonna team up with different organizations that restore and protect habitat for animals and wildlife. So please, the more support I get here on Remain Wild, the more support all these animals in the habitat will have as well. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something. I'll have more videos coming up soon. Next week, I'm gonna do one about the process that I have when I actually go out in the field to do a full photo shoot. And I promise I'll show you guys some really great wildlife. I think we're gonna head out to the beach and hopefully do some shorebirds. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you tune in next week, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.